Road Advisory Committee, Bloomfield Township. Welcome, everybody. We have everybody here. I just want to say, unfortunately, we are losing one member. Dave Webb is not going to be with us again. He's got some issues, some private things that he has to take care of, so he offered his resignation. So just so you know, so now we're down one. Now we're an even number, which is not good. We should get one more person because odd is better.
Jeff, you want?
We are.
You want to turn your microphone on? And everybody else down there, everybody's off.
Is it on? Okay. All right.
Turn your microphones on.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
I hope everybody, well, anybody who's listening or watching on line can see this. Just in case somebody has not been with us before, let me just tell you what we are. The Road Advisory Committee is a 9-member committee. Well, now it's 8, but we'll get another one. It's about a 9-member committee. The Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees formed this back, I guess, in March or something, to seek solutions to local road conditions throughout the township. Except for the township supervisor, Mr. McCready, we're all just unpaid volunteers, township residents, and we come from all parts of the township. All of us on this committee have been leaders in one area or another, whether it's township, homeowners associations, or other roles throughout the area. The mission is up on the board there now. Our mission statement, we approved that very first meeting. It's to seek alternative solutions to getting subdivision local roads repaired at a reasonable cost and to get more control over the roads. The mission statement is broad enough to allow for a blank sheet of paper approach, yet narrow enough to stay focused on the goals that we set for ourselves. We want to hear from as many people as possible. We wish more people would come to these meetings and give us your thoughts. But send us emails or letters, and we certainly will enter that into the next meeting. Okay, so the first order of business is the minutes. First of all, it's attendance, which is not, but we have a quorum, and so we can have a meeting. We have minutes from August 6th. That was the last time we met. And if you all read them, are there any corrections or any?
So move the approval.
Moved.
Support.
Moved and support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Just so you know, this is a work session today. We'll start it off. I'll start with an outline that we have. But what we want to do today is going to be very informal. We'll go one down each one and present what you have. If you have something, we'll talk about it. We'll just discuss it. Very informal, just open for discussion. That's it. From the group. So first, the list that we have, we created this worksheet. We have current situation. That's what we're looking at right now. Where are we now? What have we found out to this point? We're just about finished, I think, with our information gathering phase. So that's what we want to report to the Board of Trustees sometime, I guess, late September, early October. And so that's what we're working on right now. So we have 4 different areas. First is the current situation in the township, current situation at the county and state level, the current situation in the financing, and a current situation deficiencies, township roads, and financing. And some of that will include, never mind. That's not it. Some of it will include legislative things that's baked into some of these as well. So that's what we'll be talking about today. So without anybody want to add anything to that? Anything?
So Jeff,
Yeah.
if I can, Jason Tice is here, our finance director, and he put together a recap of the numbers of our financing that we do for roads.
Okay.
And since he's here, can we
Start with that? Sure.
Start with that, so
Absolutely.
he can go back to his business.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
This is going to be a very informal meeting, so
Yeah.
come right on.
Right. He wanted to go get his hair cut today, but I thought he could wait another day. Is your microphone on?
Look at that, I figured it
Perfect.
out. Supervisor shared with me item number 4, I believe in your outline, current situation on financing. So I kind of summarized those A, B, C, and D. So in your state road fund sources, amounts collected, Very simple response on that. Bloomfield Township does not receive any state funding that is specifically earmarked or specified for roads. On item B, county road fund sources, amounts collected, and deployment of those funds. So as you've heard probably multiple times in your meetings, we do have a agreement with the road commission. They provide us reimbursement. We actually have to show them invoices and such, and they reimburse us per a annual contract. So that amount for fiscal year 2025 was $810,165. And historically, at least in the last few years, the road commission ends up increasing that amount by about 2% a year. So we would expect in '26 and then '27, 2% on those numbers. On your section C, township road funds, sources and deployment of those. The road millage in fiscal year 2025 was $3,403,014 collected. The next largest funding source for our road fund is a transfer in from the general fund. That is going to jump up and down every year based on what is the road fund need, and does the general fund have the availability to give it to them, because general fund also helps support public safety. So typically those transfers are one of the last things we figure out when we're in our budgeting process, is when you pay for everything that needs to be paid for and you start getting into the elective things, and paving contractors is an elective item, that transfer into the road fund can get reduced. So, for example, in 2021, we were able to support the road fund with $750,000. 2023, it was only $300,000. If you look at what we're budgeted to give the road fund in '26, it's $2.7 million. So it really does bounce up and down. Part of that $2.7 million is this year we have two major plow truck capital expenditures that two of them combined is $1 million. So the next item we already talked about is the road commission funding of $810,000. On the deployment side, as examples for fiscal year '25, we funded $1.5 million of contracted paving, $200,000 of patching, which is not contracted. That's our own staff going out. They buy the materials and do the patching. We laid down $200,000 of salt on the local roads, and then one of our biggest expenses is then the personnel and retiree costs, and that's $2.4 million. On your last section, there was discussion or wanting more information on the township role of SADs and the current outstanding balance. So the SADs that run through the township allows the parcel owners to pay it over 15 years. If you go through the road commission, it's 10 years they have to pay it off. And then when I looked as of August last month, the township has 23 road SADs outstanding. Related debt on those SADs is $37 million. And that is 40% of the township's direct debt that is outstanding. So almost half of our debt is related to these road SADs. So when I read through that section of the outline, those are things I came up with. I hope that is kind of what you were looking for. But if not, I'm always available for questions too.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, so
Okay.
if you don't know it. You talked about the road commission typically increases money to the township by 2%.
Yeah.
The question is, do you know how much the cost of doing the work increases? I would assume it's not 2%.
I would agree with that, yeah.
I mean, if you said 6 or 7, I wouldn't blink, but I mean, so we're going backwards. Because they're only giving us 2% and the cost of quote, doing business increases, our money doesn't go as far
Correct.
year to year.
Yep.
That's,
Especially these last few years with just normal inflation over 5%.
yeah, it's been pretty, okay, you don't have a concrete number though? I mean, you don't know the cost of materials and labor?
No, I would expect it to be different based on, so I would think what the contractors are gonna cost us or charge us for their paving will be a different increase than, say, the salt
Yeah.
that we're buying or the
Yeah.
pothole patching
Yeah.
versus our labor, which, that one may be actually one of the lowest, cause, it was only like a 2.5% increase to labor.
Okay.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, and just my guess is that the 2% is probably if they're gonna get an increase on their Act 51 money from the state or federal government, it's probably around the same number, 1 or 2%. They're not, so then I think they're just gonna, we're getting 2%, we'll give
It's
you
a pass
2%.
a
Yeah.
pass along.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
When you're going through the use of funds, I didn't write it down, you said 1.5 million, what's that for?
Contracted paving was 1.5.
Okay,
And again, that gets us back to pre-COVID, pre-recession numbers of what we would typically spend on contracted paving. But again, if we were to head into another financial crisis or some issues, that'd be one of the things we'd have to consider. Can we afford 1.5? Do we have to reduce it to 1, to $500,000? It's a big line item that eats up a lot of the funding, as you can see.
when you talked about the budget, you said, 3.4 is the millage, 2.7 is the general fund because of equipment for 26 and 810 from the county.
Yep.
So that's a 6.9 budget for what you would have in 26. So I guess you'd have another line item called capital equipment, because if you add up the 2.4 and the 1.5 and the 200, you don't get to 6.9.
Yeah, so those weren't, it wasn't all inclusive, those were the biggest pieces of it. I believe the fiscal year 26 road budget is the highest it's ever been, and it's about 7.5 million, I believe, this year.
Could you give us a source and use schedule for 26?
Yeah, like the actual budget that shows.
Yeah, so here's your source of funds and here's your uses of funds.
Yeah.
Just for our report.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would
absolutely.
really help us if you could document that,
Sure.
so that we have it
Yeah, I was
codified
gonna
per
ask, yeah.
per Jeff's request, because it's great
Yeah.
information, and thank you for coming and sharing, but it's hard for us to visualize it. If we could see it
Absolutely.
in writing, that would
Because
be
we
great.
want it to balance out. And I know you have equipment at different times, so it can be a kind of a one-off, okay.
I have a couple of questions, if it's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
You mentioned legacy cost, two or three people who are going to get pension. Is that going to, once they retire, would that help the township road department budget? Because the new people don't get all those benefits, right?
New people do not, depending on which, the pension was closed in 2005, retiree healthcare in 2011, so, yeah, with each retirement, we're transitioning. But I think I think the answer is no, it's not gonna give us a immediate reduction in the budget because we're still paying for all of those legacy costs. We're still playing catch up. So while these people are still working actively that have the benefits, we're having to make annual contributions based on the actuaries' reports. And then they're gonna, once they're off as an active employee on to retirement, they're then gonna be drawing on those benefits, and so we're still gonna be paying for those as we go. So it's not like as soon as they transition to retirement, we get a reprieve or relief on the costs. We're gonna be paying for those still for a number of decades.
So in the short term, it's not going to make any difference. That's what you're saying.
No, and we're actually, it's almost the opposite, because each of the new employees you're bringing on with these defined contribution plans, you can't put off any of their costs and you're 100% funding it as they're becoming active. So you're kind of getting hit twice, right, double dose right now. You have the new ones you have to pay for, and you're still playing catch-up on the old defined benefit plans for all the other ones.
Okay. The second question, you may or may not have an answer right now. We are, from the day one, we've been quoting, village SAD as our benchmark kind of thing. I was wondering, do we have data on last 3 to 5 SADs in the township, that what kind of cost people had to pay, so that we don't just do, in my opinion, just do, only one example. If an average of 5 SADs or 3 SADs or something, that gives us or the trustees a good feel for, how expensive, or what's the variable, right, between 60,000 and is it, like Kirkway Road was, there was an SAD just last year. I wonder what was the cost per homeowner in that particular, and it's going to vary. So maybe, in my opinion, it's to provide a range of SADs that our homeowners are paying within last 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, we have all that data. We can easily pull that together. It'll be hard to decipher all the variables, because just in
Sure.
supply and contractor cost alone, even if everything else was the same, you would see a drastic increase over the last 5 years. But then on top of it, you have the different size of the parcels and everything that goes into the assessing and treasury valuation of those. But I've been here for as long as they've been doing the SADs, so 23 of them now. We started with SAD, I think in Nob Hill, SAD 404 or 405, and now we're up at 429. My memory is those might have been around 15. They were less than 20 grand a parcel, I believe.
That's right.
And now you're at close to 60.
Yeah, well, more than that.
With interest.
Yeah, 68,000 is the current high mark, which is
Yeah.
the SAD under construction of Bloomfield Village.
I'm in Uphill and it was less than 20,
Okay.
but that was 13 years ago or
And we went through
Yeah.
that.
2011 or 12 or.
something.
Yeah, we'll get to.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 years ago, our subdivision went through the process of a total rebuild, and it came to 15,000. That was 8 years ago now. 8 years ago, it was
Yeah.
15,000. And it was, well, anyway, so that's what it was then, and now it's probably in the 40s. So I don't know whether all those old SADs from way back, I don't know if that is really relevant, because they were.
No, I was just
a
thinking
couple
about
just the last
Kirkway
year or
was
two.
done last year.
Yeah.
Like
I
there were
got
2 or
it.
3,
Okay.
within last 2 years or 3 years. That gives a range, so it doesn't look like we are just focusing
No,
on
we
just
get that.
one.
Okay.
Something that might help us is, I noticed in the SIMCOG report, Mr. Shostak indicated it was 55,000. So that's another item we could
Yeah,
do
but
based on what you
that's the
said.
base number, and if it's financed, you have to,
It's on top of
on
it.
Yeah,
top of
that's why
that.
it's 68,000.
Right.
That includes the financing.
And
That
costs.
includes the finance.
Unless
Okay.
it's
And
paid
if you-
for.
So we've got something to.
Yeah, and if you look at the debt that the township has taken on,
Right.
this is going to be reflected as we work with Standard & Poor's, that we have to maybe get out of doing SADs and not taking on any more debt at a certain point.
Yep.
And it has to go to the county.
Well, the
Which-
problem with going to one of the problems going to the county, number one, it's only 10 years, but the other thing is that they have an interest rate that's much higher.
It is.
It's 6%, no matter what,
The cost of it.
no matter what the market is. The township goes by the 1% over market, I believe it is.
Correct.
And so if it's 2%, 3%, but the county is always 6%. And that could be good if we are at 9% in interest market, but it's
Yeah, but
high.
how much debt are we going to take on for this in the township?
Yeah.
And then we don't own our roads.
I just want to ask you this, if you had an opportunity to really digest the plan that's been coming out of Lansing for road funding, it's not been approved yet, I don't think it's gone through, but it's the plan that's out there. And if you do you have any opinion on how that'll affect the amount of money we will get?
I have not. I try to, while I follow it, I try not to spend too much time on it until it's final. Just learning from past experience of how many times it changes and goes back and forth. Yeah, I'm watching that to see.
Okay.
By the date.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if you had any thoughts, that's all. That's okay.
October 1, we'll get a right final number by October 1. They're supposed
Maybe.
to pass the budget.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Okay, anybody else? Questions, comments? Okay, thank you so
All right.
much. Appreciate that, all that information.
you.
I look forward to getting, we can put it in the report.
Thanks.
That's great.
Yeah, send us that source and use, that'll be helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so then let's go back to the beginning. We'll go back to the current situation township. And we do have something here. Jay, do you want to comment on that? Do you want to talk about that?
I'll
You
talk
wanna do
about it. Yeah,
Good.
it's fine. All right, so basically the piece that I have here is broken into 3 sections. The first section is with regards to the rating system, so that the trustees understand when we talk about road conditions, what they're based on. I don't know if you want me to just read this stuff to you? and
Sure.
You guys can comment? All right.
Whatever.
Condition of all the roads in Oakland County are evaluated periodically. And I left that periodically, even though our presenter said it was every 3 years, but I found stuff under Michigan Department of Transportation that said it was less than every 3 years, so,
For townships, that's correct. For the others, it's 3 years, but we were the poor stepchild.
okay. All right, the Pavement Surface Evaluation and Rating, PACER, system is used to rate the roads. The Transportation Asset Management Council, TAMC, of Michigan adopted the PACER system for its statewide assessment of the pavement conditions. Each roadway is rated on a score of 1 to 10, with 10 being new construction and 1 being a failing condition. The following table summarizes the ranking system. So basically, if you look at the table, it's rated 1 to 10. It gives you what the descriptions are, what the TAMC calls good, fair, or poor, and based on what the construct of the roadways are made of, either asphalt or concrete, what the recommended treatment would be to resolve it if it needs some work. The condition of major highways, the U.S. highways such as US 12, for example, Michigan Avenue, the interstate roads such as I-75, and the Michigan roads such as M24, that is Telegraph, is the responsibility of the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT. The condition of main roads in Oakland County is the responsibility of the Road Commission of Oakland County, RCOC, and is partially funded by federal aid. However, the condition of subdivision streets is also the responsibility of the RCOC, but there is no federal aid allocated to these streets. Therefore, improvements to subdivision streets necessitates the approval of a Special Assessment District, SAD, which requires all property owners adjacent to a proposed road surface replacement project to agree to assess themselves the cost of replacement, typically $50,000 to $60,000 per lot at this time. The latest data available on the current road conditions in Bloomfield Township are shown on the following 2 pages. The first is that of the main roads for which the county receives federal aid, and the second is that of subdivision streets for which the county receives no federal aid. So those are the 2 handouts that we had been presented with before, and I'll get cleaner copies of those. But if you notice on the one that has federal aid, as I say at the bottom, the condition of the roads where federal aid is available is mostly in fair to good condition, that being the green and the yellows. On the ones where there are no federal aid, so that being the subdivision streets, the conditions of the roads where federal aid is not available is mostly rated as poor. Lastly, Bloomfield Township is the only township in the state of Michigan to have its own road division department. They maintain 176 miles of subdivision streets and 37 miles of unpaved gravel roads. While they provide the service of asphalt patching, they are not responsible for, nor have the budget to, provide repaving services at this time. Therefore, repaving or replacement of subdivision streets remain the responsibility of Road Commission of Oakland County.
You know, I think that these 2 graphs, two charts that you've supplied here, are 2 of the most important, in my opinion. The 2 of the
Picture
most
tells 1,000
important
words.
things to show not only the Board of Trustees when we make the report, but whoever, the public to see it.
Correct.
Where when it's done, when it's not done by the county, when it's not done simply by the county, it's pretty good. When it's just a county, it's awful. And I think people need to see this, and I like, this is really good. This map, I don't know if we can get it, by the time we do our presentation, you brought this up before also, that it's really not 100% accurate because the Bloomfield Township is being done and it's better, but still in all, this is indicative of how the system is set, it's set so we fail.
And it's not just Bloomfield Township. When
Well,
I
I
was
know.
doing my research, I was looking at statewide maps, and it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's
Well,
amazing.
that's true, but we're concerned.
We're focused on
with
us.
Township.
Sure.
And the system is set up so that we are guaranteed to fail. That we can't ever, unless we pay an exorbitant amount of
It
money.
won't work.
It won't work. So I think these two are the, when I do this is gonna be front and center, these two charts right here. I think that's great. All right,
One thing,
Go ahead.
I see this document, is there, Bloomfield is the only township, or there's another township in the state has a road department?
I thought there was one
yeah,
other.
your report said there was a second one.
Yes.
We weren't sure.
Yeah.
It was that-
Yeah,
I think that's true, there is a new one that just started.
Okay, I pulled it
Yeah.
off the presentation,
Right.
so, okay.
Yeah, we weren't sure.
Hey, one or two in the entire state, it's still the same.
Out of 83.
Yeah, right.
Like 1,800 townships. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
All right, so should we, is this complete enough, this report? Should we add to, we need to add to it for our report to the board, or is this pretty much what we found?
I think it is.
Right?
I think if you look at the Pacer ratings,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is look at the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of-
Especially Knob Hill, that's now yellow.
Yeah, it's only 12 or 13 years old, and we're already in the,
And only green areas are the new development, that,
Hopefully the village will be green.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
All right,
if
thanks.
there's nothing else on this, then we can move on to the current situation, county and state. Dr. Azarian is not here, but Mindy?
He did this great work, and he's not here, so we need to have him speak to this too.
Okay.
I
We can put
reviewed
it-
this
it's
with
okay.
him, but if you look at pages, well, they're not numbered, but 2 and 3, there are some things you just spoke of that we can fill in that confirm some of his questions, right? So we
Okay.
can do some of this, and for the next meeting,
Good,
fill in
All right.
these questions.
Okay.
And then it will be that much more complete. But I think it's, have you,
I
you
look-
see this in advance?
yeah.
Okay, I thought, yeah, thought it was good.
don't have it, but that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, we met about it before we finalized it, but he
Sure.
did all the heavy lifting. It's great.
All right, then if we're not, well, then we'll move on to, I'm getting lost here, I got stuff all over the place here. The next one then would be current situation financing.
Which we had.
Oh, well, we just heard that.
Yeah, Jason.
Okay. And then current situation, deficiencies, township roads and financing. Jeff and Steve?
Okay. I'll start.
Yeah.
What we did, and you have the report that's on the screen also, what we tried to do is pull together kind of what we anticipated coming from the other subgroups and try to bring it to a kind of conclusion for the findings. And also, you'll see in our report, there are yellow marks, and that was the things that we need to have checked or confirmed by staff. These are data points that we thought would be helpful to our presentation, so those are kind of things that we would need to be completed. But if you look at the report, the beginning is, Steve put together kind of an overview of Public Act 51, how it's worked, how it's come together, some of the issues and how it goes, so people understand that right now is the funding source for roads in the state of Michigan, pulling in the funds from the various components, which is primarily gas tax and the registration plus some other sources of funds. So maybe we can pause there. That was just kind of to set the table for where we are currently with the source of funding. So I think you did a great job and laid it out. So If, I don't know if anybody has any other comments, questions, changes.
I just have one question about the Public Act 51. Is that, we talked about this, you looking through the history of the Public Act, where we are now and all that, is that what you have here?
Yes.
Or do you still have more research to do?
No, this is all
Okay, good.
baked in there.
Okay.
I mean, it was, the big body was in 51, and we're still kind of following that outline. It was amended as recently as February of this year, but it's just a minor tweak, and so that's all kind of, it didn't really impact in any significant way what we're talking about.
So then the next phase, when we start to get into the next phase of what we're doing after we report, are we going to be able to talk about the deficiencies of this act and how it's outdated, or what we recommend should be done to the act, or redone, like Donnie Steele said, I mentioned it should be thrown away, and she said, absolutely.
Right,
So,
well,
but we'll wait, that is the next phase.
I thought that's what it was, so I didn't, we together, didn't do that part.
Okay,
We tried to
Makes sense.
draw the line. This was just a background as to where we are.
Okay.
And it talked about township, and then what is first PA 51, but then toward the bottom of this page, we talked about what's a township. And goes back to, quite a while ago, when townships were first established, and what are the responsibilities and duties?
Got it, I see that, yeah.
And what's the mandatory versus the permissive. And so so we talked about PA 51, and then, because we're different, a township, that was the lower half of this page.
So we're only interested in facts here. No editorial on what's good or bad or anything, but just the facts.
That's what Jeff and I,
That's what I'm thinking.
and then we drew the
That's
line,
good.
don't go past that.
Yeah, good.
We can,
Well,
but we
I think
didn't.
that's the next phase.
That's what we thought.
Yeah, okay. All right.
All right. Then what we also then went on, and we kind of divided it into three pieces, we call the physical deficiencies, which we're talking about, financing deficiencies, and then one we added was what I call the political situation or the environment we're operating in, because at the end of the day, this is a very political environment to us try to secure some additional funding. Under the physical deficiencies, again, fact-based, just trying to state, so everybody can, we're at one level of knowledge. We got a whole community that's not up to speed. So part of the way we tried to organize this was to bring other people up to speed, in a very efficient manner for them. So it's not time consuming. You don't have to read a lot, but it gives them a way to kind of get the feel for what's going on and get the broad understanding. So under the physical thing, we just wanted to talk about, the role that we all know about as the road commission, what its, position is, and it's basically, there's no money for local roads. But we know that, but we need to establish that as information. The idea of the PACER report, which we just talked about, in the poor condition, and then talk about the PACER report in three categories for the township. What percent is poor, what percent is fair, and what percent is good. And we need to get somebody to convert that, but essentially, our estimate is, based on the presentations, at least 85% of our roads are poor, which means, under the definition of poor, they need attention now, not 10 years from now. So that's what we're trying to establish with that point. And then we talked about maybe adding, in addition to that, we'd have the PACER report, which we could have in section 1, and we could bring it here, or some combination. But also, we thought it would be good to have some physical pictures of the roads. It's one thing to have a description or a discussion, but we want concrete examples, which we think would help people. Again, like we talked about the PACE report, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and we think that would be helpful. So that's what we wanted to do there. And then, the number H is we need to confirm that, but it's the way we understand it, there's nothing in the law that requires the county road commission to maintain and replace our local roads. It's discretionary, not mandatory, which we can talk about later on. So that's kind of what we tried to highlight, what we think are the key physical things that we want people to understand as we move forward. So everybody's got.
And Jeff, you talked about what I call the alligatoring of your road. So you just have little small pieces of asphalt, just kind of patchwork together, that look like alligator skin. And so we'd love to have a picture of that, so that, that alone is massive.
Well, it isn't going to be hard to find.
Well, yeah,
Right, so
Every one of our subdivisions, wherever we live, you're going to find it, so.
yeah.
I think what is important here is what you just said, is that people think about all these things they have all these predetermined ideas all over. And this, what we found here, comes from the sources. This is the truth. This is what it really is. I think that's very important to present. And so that people will say, oh, I thought we hit this, I thought that, I didn't know that. But this is right from the people who are involved. I think this is good.
Should we have references where we
I'm
got
sorry?
this? Should we, at the very end of the report, say where we got this information from?
We will.
That
In the
would
report,
be-
we're going to talk about that.
Be a
You
good
bet.
reference for,
From the road commission, from legislative people, we talk, all the people are presented. Canton Township, all the people are presented.
Yeah.
We'll let people know.
no, some of the numbers, got it from OCRC website or whatever. So then, people know that it is factual and they can go back and check our number.
Yeah.
I have one question on item H. I'm a little confused. The township, Bloomfield Township has no millage capacity available. Is that?
I'm sorry, which one?
In the last
3H.
H?
3H.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're at like 9.98 on our millage right now, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
the maxed out. So in order to do a road millage, we don't have a capacity or?
We don't under state law. However, in 2030 and 2032, most of our bonds and millages will be complete. So we'll have a chance then to come back and recalculate. Now, we couldn't go over our millage cap, but that has effects on your S&P ratings and other areas too.
So, in a timeline
I
wise,
believe.
26 to, so next 4 years, you can't really go to voters for a millage, right? Because you already have maxed out to 10.
Yeah, unless we were to somehow figure a way to redo some of the millages we have and turn them into SADs,
Oh, I see.
So,
right? But either way, we're paying somehow, right?
You roll into safety path or this or that into,
Right.
okay,
We prioritize.
prioritize, okay, got you.
Okay, go
so the
ahead.
next one is the financing, which we started to get into, is that we thought it was important to break down how where the money comes from 51 and how it gets allocated. The key here is townships get zero. So I just want that, there's some points in here I'm making too. It's not all factual, but with a little emphasis that we're trying to do. And we talked about Act 51, what's going on, which we just talked about. And, there's zero funding, this could be C should be the County Road Commission. I didn't have the R in there. Provide zero funding to the township for local roads. It's kind of repetitive, but it's a point that we want to make to understand there is a source of money, but from a prioritization or a view by a different group that they have decided that the local roads are not a priority or do not have resources to do it. And then what we wanted to do is just show, as an example, what's going on, here in the township is, has a road department. We talked about whether there's one or two, we'll confirm that, and what it goes for, which we got a little bit more information today, so we can beef that section up to be consistent. But what we're trying to say is, we're doing the best we can. We've got some millage dedication, but it doesn't get to the core issue of really replacing the roads. And then on the next page, we wanted to talk about, as an example of the SAD in the village, just to give an example of how this works out and what the SADs mean, which we talked a little bit about previously. And this is a little bit more than a fact, but what we're saying, SADs are not a viable approach to replace the roads. What I'm trying to establish is we have to think differently than SADs. It's kind of been, let's let them do an SAD. At $55,000, $60,000, $70,000, that is not a viable option. So that's the reason we're kind of came together, is that's kind of what people are thinking, but we need to kind of articulate that and go from that. And then the last item, which we just talked about, is, is our understanding, I think Mikey just indicated, there is no, people say, well, we'll raise the millage, or let's have, let's get some more money. Because of the state law, we're capped at 10 mils.
Yep.
Cities have 20. So we don't need to go, but, so we have a limitation of what we can do, and it's the 10 mils, and we're at that number, so we don't have the flex or even the opportunity to see if we can do
So
that.
if you remember that, Michael Byrne, the engineer, had come in and said, I think you're misreading the law, it can go up to 20 mils.
Yeah.
Well, we've had 3 different attorneys look at it, and we've got 3 different opinions. Okay.
What's the answer?
Well, we don't want to go past 10.
Yeah, right. So I think that may be a fact that could be challenged, so we need to make sure that we document that in the proper way, that there's a basis for that fact. So that's kind of the highlights of what we wanted to try to talk about, the financing, trying to establish the whole principle of where we are, what's available to us, and what we have to do.
I just want to comment on one thing you brought up, maybe I won't get agreement on this, but you talked about the difference between, you kind of minimized talking about the difference between township and cities and villages in the millage. And I, in my opinion, I mean, maybe we don't want to put it in, I think we should,
Okay.
to point that out specifically, that because we are a township, we're limited. And cities and villages, I know villages, I guess, the same, but cities anyway, they have the ability to raise more of their own, keep more of their own, raise more of their own money, keep more of their own money, and put it toward that. And I think that should be in there, that's all.
Okay, we can add that, and that's a good point. Yeah.
And the only other thing that I wanted to say is that, I think, maybe it's not in this, maybe I should have brought it up in current situation township, is the fact of our say over what we can do with our roads. Speed limits, speed bumps, no turn on, no right turn, none, all these other things.
Signage.
Sorry?
Signage.
Whatever, that we because the county owns them, we have no control over that. And I think that's important. People want to know that they want to know about that. And I know a lot of people think that that's wrong, that we should have more control of what we do. It's they're in our village, our township. Anyway, maybe that should be we should go back into ours and put that in there. I didn't think about it. I forgot to add that, so. But the different,
We'll add it. That's a good point, we'll add it.
oh, you can put it in there, okay, wherever it is, as long as it's in
Well,
there.
this is, Jeff, this is a progress report, right? This is not the final report?
Oh, no, this is just just an
Okay, so
update.
we don't need all the, dotting the i's and crossing the t's.
No,
right
but we
now.
want people to know what we've been discussing, and we've talked about this several times. In fact, it's in the mission statement, what I just brought up.
Yeah.
So I think it should be in the report that goes to the board and goes out over to everybody else. Who knows, even the press will cover it, I don't know, and it'll be out there. So, anyway,
Okay.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. The last situation, the last one is the political situation, is our conclusion is, at the end of the day, how this gets resolved, we've got to start talking about the environment in which we operate in which is a political environment. We talk about the state, and we talk about the county. That's where we are. We can't change it, so how do we work within that systems, or try to? So what we wanted to do is just talk about, Act 51 has been out there for 75 years, and townships get the Heisman on those. And, there's been attempts, as we understand, the state legislature to change it, has not been successful. So then I wanted to also indicate, so we have, on a factual basis, I don't know anything that much about the road commission, but how many people, commissioners, what's their budget, and who appoints them? Because, and I think the county board of supervisors does, but I'm not sure. But
Correct, they do.
But we need to just make that statement so people understand that they serve at the pleasure of the board of supervisors, which now I'm you start talking about potential political thing, maybe you go to some of those people and talk about how this prioritization needs to be changing because of those needs. So that's the purpose of that item. And then, we want to get more money for local roads. We've been unsuccessful, so that's what we're trying to talk about. The last two items are E and F, and then I had the good fortune to have Representative Steele's LA legislative assistant called me just before a meeting, and that's what we handed out here. And what this is the report by the state fiscal agency. Now, this report here this is how the money would be allocated. Remember, they talked about the $3 billion. And this is showing what's in Public Act 51, and then you go all the way to the right, and you can see what's coming out of the proposed bill. The only positive is both the Senate and the House talked about $3 billion for roads. The issue is they have totally different ideas on how to fund it. So that's what they have to work out in the next 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks to figure it out. But this is what is currently on the table. We know it's not final yet, but it gives us a feel. And the one takeaway on this for us is that the county will pick up if the $3 billion goes through. They would pick up an additional $141 million, in addition to what they get on Public Act 51. The county, she explained to me, will have, if this passed, plus what they're getting on 51, would be $270 million for their budget, which would be an increase of 141. So that just kind of, as a point in time where things are and what the amount is. And so, I had 200 million, that's incorrect. We got to change that because I've got an update. So it just tells you kind of what to think. And then where that leads us is then, and what the legislative, Denise emphasized several times in the call, was this is all about, the intent here is about this incremental funding is all about local roads. However, there's nothing in the formula that says that, so that means it goes to the County Road Commission.
That's right.
And then they will make that allocation decision, and depending on what they view their priorities to be or such, we don't know. That's the reason I'm raising this in our report, that we need to be at the table now, talking about, you're getting this incremental funding, this is for local roads, and not say, well, we've got this, and we did this, and we deferred that, so we still don't have any money for you. It's a mindset change that we have to be actively involved and be very involved with talking to our elected representatives to make sure that the message is getting across to the funder of our situation at the Road Commission. Now, that's a little bit more strong than we wanted, but I feel strongly about it.
That's good. You said, well, there's two things. First, I think there are 3 commissions, aren't there? 3 road commissions? There's 3 members.
Oh, 3 more, okay.
3. Okay, so that's, okay, but the other thing is, you mentioned something, you said, well, we're not going to be able to change this, or we're not, in the political section, Public Act 51, and I think that, although may come in the next phase, that's in solutions or something, I don't think we should discount the fact that maybe it could be changed. That because us and Canton Township did it, we heard from them, and others around are having the same problem, and now all of a sudden they're finding out to do it 60 grand. They're going to say, wait a minute, maybe we can change some of this. Maybe we can look at some of this stuff and change the way this is done. Get rid of Public Act 51, change that. I'm not saying we can do it. I'm saying that because we said in our mission statement, it's a blank sheet of paper, I don't think we should discount anything like that. That's my opinion.
And I think this is just setting up the premise at this stage. This is the way it is. Then we move forward and then we can talk about, well, that's the way it is, but that's what we need to deal with.
All right.
That's how
This is the way it is right.
Yeah.
This is how it is. Okay, good.
Then we
All
can
right.
talk about how to change it. So that's our report.
Excellent. This is really good. All right, so are you going to fill in some of these blanks?
Yes. Well, and we're asking, the staff here to help us. So, yes.
Will do.
Yeah.
All right, anybody have any more comments on this part? Anybody want to? Okay. All right, so I think that's the last one, right?
Right.
Okay, so it looks like every group has come forward with report that can be, I think we should be fine tuning this before we go to the board. And then we'll do it in a PowerPoint, is that what we said we're gonna do?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so if we wanna, if in the next meeting, you wanna have yours, okay, maybe we can meet again, we can now meet, we're all together, we can meet and maybe fine tune it. Jeff, you wanna get get these answers to some of these
Yeah,
things?
yeah, we'll look for
Okay.
that. We can do that.
And then we will want to get the financial, we get it in writing that we asked for. So we can look at it at the next meeting. Okay. All right.
Could I ask a question?
Yep, absolutely.
Mike, do you have topical areas within a PowerPoint you typically would like covered on any topic that would apply to this report? I know it's subject matter, but do you know what I'm asking? Beyond introduction, I mean the basics, but do you know what I'm saying? Do you have any, do you have a formula for how you like to have?
Oh, for a presentation?
Right.
I don't think so.
No?
Not like a standard form. I think
Looking for guidance,
what we
Jeff.
put together, like with these separate reports, and they follow the outline, I think that would be sufficient, because we'll give them the handout also. And then we'll make it available online for people to look at it as well.
It's not a template, I can pull up what I've already started if you'd
Can we
like.
do that? Is she started?
What do you have?
Interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
What did
Just send it to all of us, we'll just add our own stuff in
Okay.
PowerPoint.
and load it in? Let's see what she has.
Just so you can get an idea of some of the
Yeah.
graphics. And just the
There's your
background and the color, I mean, obviously we have to look
Is that good or
through it.
bad?
So we can just
good.
add to that.
Right, and
It's
so that's
good.
why I was asking for actual pictures like you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
This was just the colors, and I was gonna get with Jeff, and then here's our mission statement, exactly who we are, who
See,
they met
good
with.
team, Mike.
So I've got, this is one of them, there's another one too I've gone on.
That's a great way to start. Who we met with,
There we go.
and then go into these reports, one after the other, in the outline.
This one's more,
Wow,
this
that's
is.
pretty.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
I know, see, this is.
Well,
what
except that
happens.
that shows perfect roads.
You're gonna get
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah,
Wait
get
a minute.
different road.
That's our goal.
You got it wrong?
Yeah.
No, that's our goal? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we said, this is where you find yourself.
This is what you think we have?
This is our
This
This is what you think? Well,
what
you're
we're
wrong.
gonna have. But to get there, you have to do thus and such.
Yeah, that's it. We can say, and here is what does not exist.
Boy, look how much younger we were then.
Yeah.
I'm not in that picture, don't
You're
include
not?
me. No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
oh, no,
No,
cut off.
No, this
No.
is, I think.
Or did you get annexed out,
No,
or
no, no.
were you
No,
not
my
there?
name, but not me, so don't say that about, you can't say.
Okay, this
I
is
got
what
you.
I just
Cannot.
started.
Been
That way if
edited.
you send me pictures, I
Yeah,
can plug it in.
got it.
and I'll
That's a
go
good,
to
that's a
the
good start, except, yeah.
outline. Yeah, it's the
She's already
current
working on
situation.
it.
What?
And then obviously I changed the picture.
Awesome.
You can Photoshop.
I just, we have to make a comment about that picture of that road that, are you kidding me? You know, what planet are you living on?
Given choice. This is
Get a
what it
picture of
That's
some
one of
of
the
these
bad roads.
bad roads.
I got the same.
Yeah, that's a good
thought.
play. You say, this is what we'd like.
Yeah.
Now, here's what we got. Boom.
Utopia.
We show a picture of a road that's disintegrated.
Manifest good.
So that first slide
Well,
should
go.
be last slide.
We'll spend some
We'll
time in
figure
Western
it out.
Oregon.
We'll figure that
taking
out.
pictures.
We'll make them laugh. We'll cry.
So what's the timing of our next steps? Like, what are we?
Well, I think that we have
Clean up our
one, well, let's do one more meeting
Yeah.
to
Okay.
get it together.
Sure.
Which would be in 2 weeks, so that's like the 15th, 18th, 20th, whatever is that week.
17th?
17th, okay. And then I'm thinking like around October 1st,
Yeah.
whatever, and go to the board and do the
Yeah.
presentation.
Yeah.
So that we have, after the next meeting,
October.
we have 2 weeks to make sure we have the,
Right.
have it done.
Yeah.
Correct.
After, okay. When is
So-
your next meeting?
So our next meeting is the 8th. This is Monday, then the 22nd. And then it would be, Sue, if I'm right, it would be the 6th of
There you go.
October.
That's the one.
That's when
So
we
the
want
20,
to.
actually the 22nd moves to the 23rd. The 22nd moves, let's pull up the schedule because of the holiday.
Columbus Day, but,
So October 6th would be the next, that would be Monday, the October 6th would be, I'll just pencil it, we'll just see. That's
Is
a good
that
time.
Is that the date we're thinking?
So if it wasn't the 6th, it would be then the 6th, the 20th of October.
Well,
Should-
6 is good.
Should we appear at that meeting or in the peanut gallery? Or, no?
I think so.
If you'd
It's gonna be
like,
the
yeah,
13th.
I think we should all be there.
It's all on
Misrepresented.
you. It's all on you.
It's gonna be
it's all on
October
us.
13th.
And maybe we each talk about our point that's on the PowerPoint then, right? So we do the PowerPoint, and then you would present your portion of that PowerPoint and answer any questions.
Oh.
Why not?
Oh, you want to split that, so the report's done by everybody?
Right.
I
by
think
each
that
group?
demonstrates some
Great.
things, for sure.
Unity.
Mine
Okay.
is gonna be
I'll
October
tell
13th.
Dr. Asarian.
October 13th. Okay, October 13th.
October 13th?
Yeah.
Was that counting
Is
wrong
what?
there, Sue?
What's wrong with what was
One
the
meeting.
6th?
The holiday in September.
What's the September?
So
Oh,
you have it on the 8th,
yes.
and then it moves to the 29th for Rosh Hashanah, because of Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, Rosh Hashanah, that's right, okay, yep, yep.
Okay, so
Okay, so
what's
what are
wrong
we
with like
doing?
Monday, October 6th?
It's the planning commission. It's not the board of trustees.
Oh, well, that makes,
So it's gonna
okay,
be the 13th.
okay.
So we're meeting on, for sure, okay.
So it'd be October what then, Sue?
13th.
October.
So
Great.
That's a done, that's,
Yeah.
okay.
That's Columbus Day. That doesn't matter,
I'll
does
get
it?
it on the agenda then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, federal offices are closed, we're open,
That's fine, okay.
Columbus Day, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And we're meeting, and we're, okay, I got it. Good enough. Is
The
that a good
hardworking
meeting
township.
to do this? Does it matter? Are you doing other things that, during that meeting that are,
Well, we won't know the agenda, but we'll get first up on the agenda.
okay.
So you don't have to sit for 2 hours listening to.
Be
Yeah.
lovely.
Yes, thank
Well,
you.
that would be nice, thank you, that would be great. Yeah, sure would.
7 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
All
Although
right.
we are looking at moving our meetings up to 6:30,
Right.
and we hope to make a decision on that soon, so it could be 6:30.
I'll put it in at 6:30.
Dinner served.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and that picture of the rose, what
What
planet
type
are
of
you
wine
on?
do you drink? No, I'm just kidding.
Red or white?
No,
All right.
I think I'm excited to present this to the Board of Trustees.
Yeah, I'm
And I hope a
looking
lot of
forward to it.
people in the audience and watching on TV hear what we've done, because it's so enlightening and so frustrating.
The only other thing we have to talk about, though, is, and that could be after, before the next meeting, is how, we want to make it, we don't want to make a half an hour, or, 40, we want it to be succinct.
Right.
So that people don't start dozing off.
Right.
So we have to figure how much time each
Yes.
one of us can
Yes.
present.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, now, that man that was here,
Yeah, he left me this note, and I read it.
oh, all right,
It was
I was going to
George.
say, what, it's time
It
for
was
public
George
comment.
Beeler, and he has 4 issues where he lives on Lane Lake Road, which is the issue with the speed limit, would like a flasher speed light. The road needs to be repaired. They need a larger entranceway and sidewalks.
Okay. Thanks for the input. Good, okay.
Yeah, I wish you would have stayed.
I
for
wish you would
public
too.
comment.
I asked him
if he would.
I said, if you need more time, I mean, you do 3 minutes, but you know
Right.
what, there's nobody else, so.
Right.
Do what you want. He said, no, I didn't need that much time, so I get it, okay. All right, anything else that's not on the agenda that anybody wants to bring up for the next time? Okay, then I guess we did it in 1 hour exactly, not bad. All right, next meeting, then we're gonna go over it, we'll fine tune all this, and we have 3 weeks roughly then for us to all put the thing together.
So we should fine tune it in a PowerPoint format so that we know what
No, I
fits
don't-
on what?
No,
No,
just
fine
make
tune it.
any of the questions that had to be answered.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to
You
fill
know,
in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks,
Okay.
or anything, and if there's nothing, if you like it, if you like the way it
Yeah,
is,
and then
you think
we'll
it's
load
good,
it
just
up on
leave it
there.
alone.
Yeah.
I just want to have another opportunity to revisit if there's any changes to be
I'm
made.
just concerned that, like, looking at mine, the real estate in PowerPoint isn't very large compared to Word, and so it's now taking some
No,
things
that's
and
okay.
making it
We'll-
more concise.
They're gonna be paraphrased, like the entire reports are not, I don't see how that can be put in. I mean, we're gonna-
No,
No.
yeah, so it's gonna be, yeah.
concise.
Okay,
Presentation, usually you have bullets and, you have a lot of written stuff, but you have bullets. and
You can
then
make
we
bullet
would-
points out of each
We
one.
would talk about those bullets, right?
But if every point is raised that's in there, it still can be done in 6 or 7 minutes or whatever.
yeah.
And then you do four of those, we could still be under 30 minutes.
Jeff, do you want to take a report, and we're going to fine tune it, but also make bullet points, suggested bullet points for our
I don't
pieces?
know.
Between now and our next meeting on
You
the
could, you
17th?
refine it, that make bullet points out, yeah, to make it more concise. so
Just-
we can
To help
put it
Sue
into
out.
I mean, we'll do the
presentation.
report, but then if someone wants to read, they can read the whole thing, but we can also create bullet points.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we'll do that.
Whatever you
yeah.
think is,
We'll
whatever
do
you
that.
think.
Okay.
Whatever you think. You need to fill in a lot of these blanks, that's all.
Yeah.
Mahalski is working on some.
What?
Director Mahalski is also working on that.
Okay, good.
report to try to fill in.
All right.
We don't have the database to do it.
All right. I think
Motion
that
to
we're done.
adjourn.
Move to adjourn, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
so
Thank you
be
very
an
much,
asset.
everybody. It worked
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks.
Good
meeting.
Bullet points.
Huh?
I know, he's good, isn't he?
Because I think like your point
Congratulations.
about that 51.